Denise Richards has been in the spotlight in many ways over the years, but right now she's back in an especially raw and revealing way. Between Netflix's aka Charlie Sheen documentary, her own Bravo series, Denise Richards and Her Wild Things, and the shifting landscape of the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, with Rachel Zoe joining the cast, Denise's story threads through Hollywood in ways that are both heartbreaking and surprisingly empowering. It was Denise's whirlwind marriage to Charlie Sheen in 2002 after a romantic, headline-grabbing run, followed by the birth of their daughters Sammy and Lola, that first introduced the world to one side of her story: the glitz, the parental duty, the chaos behind closed doors. But even then, the darker shadows of Charlie's infamous addictions, hard partying, erratic behavior, and the destruction left in its wake were always lurking in tabloid brackets. Denise filed for divorce in 2005, the split turning into one of the more dysfunctional in celebrity history, one marked by legal battles, allegations, and years of emotional fallout. Now, in aka Charlie Sheen, streaming on Netflix, Denise opens up like never before. Not just about what she saw and endured while married to one of Hollywood's most exasperating figures, but what she was asked to do when things spiraled out of control, pounding on Charlie's door when he'd disappear, being called by his team to check whether he was alive, carrying food for people she didn't expect to serve it to, including John Cryer looking uneasy, hookers in and out, and her emotionally raw reflections on how, all this time, she was trying not just to survive, but to hold it together for her kids. Denise breaks down crying, describing her trauma, saying she had to hold it together. That being a wife to someone in the eye of addiction is a kind of daily emergency, made worse because the world kept watching. She recounts being dismissed by those in Charlie's inner circle, her concerns often brushed off as hormonal mood swings or drama, until things got too serious to ignore. The documentary doesn't just revisit headlines, it forces reflection. Charlie's wildest antics, drunken flights, legal battles, and Denise's role in all those moments of crisis, often the person picking up the pieces. Meanwhile, in her Bravo reality series, Denise Richards and Her Wild Things, which also premiered in 2025, we see Denise now navigating work, family, and the messiness of co-parenting in the present, giving her daughters Lola, Sammy, and little Eloise as stable a foundation as she can, balancing her projects, her reality star life, her philanthropic work, and the heavy emotional legacy of her past. Though that show was canceled after one season, reportedly due in part to her pending divorce from Aaron Pipers, it still offered fans a chance to see Denise outside the theater of scandal. More human, more complex, more open. For fans who remember Denise mostly through the lens of being Charlie Sheen's ex, this period marks a turning point. One where she is not only telling her story, but reclaiming it. And in parallel to all this, RHOBH is undergoing its own transformation. Rachel Zoe, the fashion icon and reality TV veteran, is stepping in as a full-time cast member for season 15. Her return is significant. She first rose to prominence with the Rachel Zoe Project, 2008-2013, then stepped back, focused on her fashion empire, the Zoe Report, raised kids, navigated marriage, and now separation from Roger Berman after more than 3 decades together. In interviews, Rachel says she didn't come back to RHOBH for money. She came back because she has more to share now, because her life has shifted, personally, professionally, and because she feels like this is the right moment to open that chapter. Kathy Hilton has already confirmed she's filmed scenes with Rachel Zoe, referring to her as family, excited for her comeback and the change she brings. So, when you put all this together, Denise looking back at the worst of her life and choosing honesty, Denise trying to live forward with strength, Rachel Zoe re-entering Bravo with intention, RHOBH evolving, what emerges is a narrative not just about survival or scandal, but about reclamation, maturity, reinvention, and the messy path of trying to heal in public. Charlie Sheen's documentary, aka Charlie Sheen, doesn't shy away from shocking detail, but it's in the intimate moments with Denise where the emotional stakes are highest. Phone calls in the night from Sheen's producers, or his team, asking if she'd check in on him. The horror she felt opening doors she didn't want to, making sandwiches for people she didn't want to feed, but who needed to eat, and seeing her children's father unravel in ways that no spouse should have to witness without support. Denise describes how, at times, people in Charlie's orbit dismissed her, or her concerns, until behavior crossed lines. Overdoses, legal trouble, statements made in public that became part of the scandal machine. She reveals her vulnerability, the pain of trying to protect her daughters, of hearing threats dismissed, of trying to establish a sense of safety in a life that felt unpredictable. And yet, in Wild Things, though the curtains haven't closed on that part of her story, Denise appears energized, committed to raising her children, to speaking out, and to showing fans that there is more to a reality star than the chaos behind tabloid headlines. Her relationship with Aaron Pfeiffer's, their family life, and her public divorce adds new chapters, ones that aren't defined by Charlie Sheen's past alone. Rachel Zoe's return to RHOBH adds another layer to all of this, with many longtime cast members shifting, cameras catching less of the scandalous and more of the personal growth. Zoe is entering at a time when the show is being watched not just for drama, but for evolution. How these women change, how families endure, how friendship and fame collide. She says in interviews that she feels ready to show the person she is now. Not the Rachel that was on Bravo in her 20s, but the mother, entrepreneur, influencer with faults and strengths alike. Andy Cohen himself has spoken about how Zoe's return feels wild, how she fits in a very different cast than the one she left, how RHOBH season 15 might look different because the balance of personalities has shifted. Fans are expecting drama, of course. Change on reality TV rarely comes without friction, but there's also curiosity. Can someone like Rachel Zoe, known for high fashion, high energy, and status, play a part in pushing RHOBH toward more authenticity rather than just spectacle? Denise and Rachel's stories intersect because they both illustrate what it means to be a woman under scrutiny in Hollywood, what it means to be a mother, navigating divorce, legacy, personal brand, and growth, while being expected to always perform. Denise is having to revisit painful memories in AKA Charlie Sheen, but also being asked by the public to still be glamorous, still be composed, still deliver answers. Rachel Zoe is stepping back into that same public arena after decades of building a fashion empire, being a mom, going through marital transition, and now choosing to be visible again. And what ties both of them is that neither seems content to stay where they were. Both want to shift the narrative, both want the audience to see the messy parts, and both seem ready for more than just headlines. If you're tuning into Netflix or following Bravo or streaming RHOBH or watching Denise Richards and her Wild Things, or keeping up with Rachel Zoe's social media announcements, what to expect is heavier emotion, more honesty, and maybe a bit less of the manufactured for-show drama, though that will always be part of the package. Viewers will see Denise's courage in telling stories that most would hide: late-night panic, uncertainty, the shame of being powerless in some moments. They'll see Rachel Zoe re-emerge with vulnerability, ambition, and a deeper sense of self. Reality TV in 2025 is leaning into redemption arcs more than ever. It's no longer enough to be outrageous. Audiences want truth, scars, healing, and those stories feel especially relevant now, in a culture that is hunger-struck for realness. Denise, Rachel, their journeys might be different, but their trajectories show that even under bright lights, with cameras rolling, the most powerful scenes are those that reveal who someone truly is, beyond the gloss.